morning, class.
Good morning, sir.
How are you feeling?
Fine.
Yes, I'm Mr. Wahome. I'll be the one taking you in anatomy and physiology. And today we'll be looking at transport in animals. Yes. And before we start, how was your holiday? How was it?
Hectic.
Mine was not okay because I'm a Manchester fan and we were beaten 4-1 by Newcastle.
Okay. How was your holiday?
It was good.
Before you even start the session, yes. Let me just call out. We are not. We are not familiar with each other. This is the first session. I'm taking you in this unit. So what I'll require of you is for you to please write your name. Yes.
Yes.
Write your name. That is the roll call. That is of course. But there's also an alternative. We can just introduce ourselves here. We can introduce ourselves as well. Then we are going to write our names as we move forward.
Okay, I'm Brian Nyango.
I like that. And what has brought you here?
So I'm training to become a trainer.
Okay.
I'm Stella Olivera.
Yes.
I came here to achieve the pedagogy certificate.
What's the name and what has brought you here?
I'm Joki Christy.
Yes.
One my course in applied science.
What's the name, sir?
Yes, I'm Joko Ogwine, also here for pedagogy, my area.
And what has brought you here?
I chose TSTVET because it is one of the institutions which offers the best in pedagogy.
Interesting, sir. What's your name and what has
I'm
brought
Paulo
you here?
Kangele.
Yes.
I'm here for pedagogy.
Thank you.
I'm Annette.
Yes.
And I'm here for pedagogy.
Okay. Let's continue. What's your name, sir? Yes.
I'm here for pedagogy.
Yes. Thank you. And my friend, what's your name and what has brought you here? Yes.
I am here for pedagogy.
Clap for yourself. So, let's first start our session. And I'll be taking you in anatomy. And something else as we continue. Start thinking of what anatomy is and physiology also what that is so that we can continue. And we will be specifically be looking at, that is the unit of competence. Competence is anatomy and physiology. Then we will be looking at transport in animals. And of course our learning outcomes. What are you expected to do? What will you have learned before we conclude this session? That's what we want to understand. Yes, before we start, perhaps you can be discussing what anatomy is and perhaps what physiology is before we indicate the learning outcomes of perhaps what we'll be learning today. And of course, we will be looking at, as part of the learning outcomes, we will be looking at the types of circulatory systems. Sorry. First, we will define the circulatory system. Then we are going to look at the types of circulatory systems. And we are going to be looking at other things like we are going to identify the circulatory system. I think we are going to do that for this session, and next time we are going to proceed from there. Now, class, let me ask, what do you understand by anatomy? Yes, Mbogwa?
Anatomy is the study of the structure.
Yes.
Yeah, of organs.
Anatomy is
The study of structure.
study of structures. Well done. Okay, can come to you, sir.
Yes, just to add on what my colleague has said,
Yes.
I think anatomy tries to look into the makeup of
Yes.
something.
Okay.
How the structure, the makeup of things that constitute the whole something.
Interesting. Yes, that is interesting, and I like that. I see you have a rough idea. So anatomy basically is, we are going to be looking at the whole functioning of the body. What about the element of physiology? What does physiology has to do with? Physiology. What?
The processes that take place in human body.
In human body. Example?
Digestive system.
Digestive system.
Circulatory system.
Okay. And speaking of the types, the circulatory system, we'll be looking at the definition of circulatory systems because we have brought it into light. And what do you know, something small about the circulatory system, especially when you're dealing with animals? What do you understand, or what is the circulatory system, or what does it entail? Yes, we have, of course, two types of circulatory systems. Who can identify it?
We have open circulatory system
Yes.
and closed circulatory system.
Thank you, sir. Yes, in animals we have two, the open and the closed. And what does the open deal with? The open circulatory system. What is it about? And what is the closed circulatory system? Yes?
For the open circulatory system,
Yes.
the blood will be flows once.
Yes.
While for the closed circulatory system, the blood flows twice.
Yes. I like that. Thank you so much. Clap for her. Yes, and something else. In a group of two, can you quickly discuss identify the kind of circulatory systems you have quickly for 2 minutes?
The open circulatory system and we have the closed circulatory system. Yes, and what I understand by open circulatory system is that the blood flows outside the vessel, but with closed, the blood flows only in the vessel. That is the capillaries, the arteries, and the veins. That is a closed blood. But with that open, where now the blood flows.
So, thank you. Now, can we get the feedback of what you have just discussed? About to our question, that is, we are looking at the identity of the circulatory system and perhaps the organs involved in that. Perhaps the blood vessels, perhaps I would hope that you have discussed something like that. Yes? Anyone? Yes?
So, with my colleague, we've seen two circulatory systems. That is a closed one
Yes.
and an open one.
Yes.
Where in an open circulatory system, we've defined it as a circulatory system in which the blood flows outside
Yes.
the vessels, the arteries, the veins, and the capillaries. Whereas the closed one is where the blood flows inside the blood vessels.
Thank you. Clap for him. Yes.
In addition to what my friend here have said,
Yes.
we also investigated and see that the open circulatory system, more so it happens in insects and closed happen in human.
Thank you. Clap for yourself. Now, let's summarize our topic today. For today, we were looking at anatomy of physiology, and that, to be specific, we were looking at transport in animals. And what have we learned today? We have defined what the circulatory system is, and what have we learned that is? Quickly, we summarize it. What have we defined circulatory system as? Yes?
Yes, we define circulatory system as the flow of fluids within the body structure.
Thank you. Then we have looked at the types of circulatory system, that is the open and the closed, yes? And also we have identified, besides the organs of the system used in transporting, that is the veins, the vessels, the capillaries, and all those things. So, for the next session, I want you to have there's something I want you to do for the next class. I want you to go and research on the functions of the heart in regard to the circulatory system, yes? Yes, that is the function of the heart.
Assignment.
Assignment, that is. Functions of the heart in the circulatory system. Thank you, class, for your cooperation. Yes, and do you have a question?
I have a question before you. When are we supposed to submit?
Before the next class, which is in 1 week's time, that is 14 plus 7.
21.
Yes, on 21st, this month. That's when the assignment should be submitted. And I want a hard copy. Yes? Unless you have any suggestion, comment, a protest is also accepted. If you have nothing, thank you for this session and see you next time.